Hey, all you anime addicts. Cystic fibrosis is a bitch, and this year we're going to kick its ass with help from you and a donation from the AAA podcast. So for the first 3 months of 2021, we will be donating 50% of all incremental support that we receive during that time to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and together we can lodge a boot in the booty of a terrible illness. So if you want to help out, head over to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon, or click the donate link on the top of the homepage, and 50% of everything will go to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Make your boot felt over at aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. And now, time to start the show.
来てくれてありがとう You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Anonymous Podcast. My name is Mason, and I can assure you that in the show to come, you will learn about anime that you have never heard of before, all in an effort to make your addiction so much worse. To aid me in this, I'm joined by my compatriot, Superman to my Batman, but it looks a little Clark Kentish today. How's it going, Mitsugi?
Mitsugi's going to do a 3-point turn, spin in a circle, and boom, no more glasses needed.
What?
Throw these motherfuckers away. They're out there behind me somewhere on the floor because Mitz got LASIK. Adding LASIK surgery to yet another thing I did. Well, I podcasted immediately afterwards. So we are back in action. Glad to be here, Mason. So appreciate the intro.
Awesome. And what are you drinking today, Mr. Superman?
Oh, it's a pink Monster. I mean, I got a whole case of them downstairs. So, it's the same every day. Pink Monster. Let's do it.
Excellent. Well, now that we'll see you all in the new light, welcome all those joining us on Twitch, where we stream every Sunday at 5 p.m. EST. You can join us on Facebook. You can join us on Discord, where all the cool kids hang out. And, Mitz, what's going on with the Anime Oscars?
Well, the Oscar voting will probably be up by about the time that you hear this from Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to our normal podcast release. So all of the different podcasts that I invited had all given their nominations, and I will be compiling all of the nominees for each category into a easy to do poll that you can go vote on for about the next month, and that'll be up somewhere. There'll be a notification on our Discord, on social media, and on the front of our website, so you can vote in our Oscars. So thanks for that. Also, one more quick note. The first episode of our Attack on Titan final season and Dr. Stone Season 2 recaps came out last week. I think they went out on Friday, so if you are a fan of Dr. Stone or Attack on Titan and are watching the new seasons of those two series and won't be spoiled by hearing us talk about those episodes, because there's definitely spoilers, head over there and you can hear me talk about those on our RSS as well. So enjoy those hopefully weekly now until they're done. So now I will shut up. Mason.
Excellent. Well, we have a lot to get to today. First, our big topic is the What Have We Been Watching segment, where Mitz and I overload you guys with tons of anime recommendations and talk about what we've been watching for the past couple months. We have a new segment called Anime Addicts Confessional. I don't know if I can talk to the music, but where the beloved Pope that you guys all worship will decide if he forgives you lowly sinners for the crimes against humanity that you have committed. And in a very fitting theme, we also have the review of the Misfit of Demon King Academy. I'm not going to say the full name of that show because it's obscenely long, but it's we'll get to that at the end.
It's like a joke now. It's like, how long can the titles get? So we'll read it all later, and it'll
exactly.
take
just once for posterity.
It will take the whole for 30 minutes back to the back end of the podcast to read the title, but we'll fuck it. We'll do it. Why not?
Indeed, just for you.
All right. Anything else, Mason?
Nah, I think we can kick this off.
大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Well, it was a pretty big new release, I think, but not really. We didn't really quite have enough big releases to do a full segment on it. But ReZero author and Wit Studio are combining to create a new anime in the spring of 2021, an original anime called Vivi, Fluorite Eye's Song. The tagline being the story of I, Vivi, destroying my AI self. So, Wit Studio coming out spring 2021. Again, the Tape Nagatsuki and Eiji Umehara, who are the original creator and scriptwriter of ReZero, are going to be collaborating as the original creator and the scriptwriter for this. So you have a new anime by the people behind ReZero coming out from, Wit Studio of all studios. So like it's like a match made in heaven. The potential is for it to be awesome is certainly there, and I would say that the promo art for it looks gorgeous. So, what do you think, Mason?
I think that the title is pretty awful. It seems like a game type of thing that you'd see in the modern age. But I don't know. I love Wit. ReZero clearly knows how to write stuff, and there was like a 10-second promotional announcement video which had a very Sawano-esque music landscape to it. So he's worked with them for Attack on Titan, so maybe he'll be on, which will further increase my hype. So too soon to tell, but overall I like a lot of the team involved.
You're saying you're thinking that Hiroyuki Sawano might be involved? Because I don't think that was in the article, but that'd be awesome.
It would be nice. It didn't say anywhere, but just the very short snippet of music sounded like it could have come from his dome.
All right. Well, I just put the image up on Twitch. If you're watching, you can see what the promo looks like. The art looks pretty fucking cool. So
looks a little like SAO though. Just
yeah,
with the tower going up into the sky or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I guess that's not that unique.
This is Vivi though. Come on, it's not SAO.
Exactly.
Whatever Vivi's probably some acronym for something, but I'm excited.
Fluorite Eye's Song? What does that mean? What does it mean?
What does it mean? Spring was already looking pretty packed full of some good shows, and just add this to the pile. So I'm pretty excited. We're gonna have a great 2021 for anime. So.
Oh, believe it. I believe it.
Believe it.
My news is pretty short and sweet, I mean disappointing. The Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, speaking of terrible names, Thrice Upon a Time is delayed once again to almost nobody's surprise. No! One point, this movie was rescheduled for January 23rd, which is less than a week from now, and late this week it was delayed yet again to an unnamed date due to the new state of emergency in Japan. I'm going to guess it's going to be, let's say, March. I don't think it'll be a long delay, but nonetheless, it's kind of not surprising at this point because this movie has chronically been delayed. And it was funny because I was planning to have a Discord watch party to watch the first, second, and third movies, kind of just to reacquaint ourselves, because the first movie came out in 2007. The last movie came out in 2012. So it's been 9 years since we've had much of anything from the Eva franchise. So definitely need a reminder of what happened, and was hoping to finally actually see it, but we will wait a little bit longer.
I don't know. I'm so behind on Eva at this point that I hate to say I don't care, but I really just kind of don't. I mean, I've seen the original Eva series a couple times, and that's about it. I haven't watched the specials. I haven't watched the films, and I don't know. Maybe that's shameful in and of itself, but I don't know. I just don't care.
It's not that big a deal. That big a deal. This is either going to be a red line situation where it's been delayed so long and it's going to come out and just knock our socks off, or it's going to be like a Duke Nukem situation where it comes out and we were waiting decades for that. Oh no.
oh no. I think I had an oh yes drop somewhere in here. Oh, maybe not. I definitely have oh no. I have holy shit. Okay.
Counts for something.
Yeah, I mean, Evangelion is it really is the only franchise that's going to get away with taking a 9-year break. Because any other franchise would have been forgotten a long time ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you walk around Akihabara Eva still dominates all
Oh,
the
it's fucking
shops and figures. Like
it's everywhere. I
it's
mean,
so ingrained into the entire culture that they can take it as long as they want, and they're doing that.
oh yeah, and it won't even matter. Evangelion is like a staple of Japanese society at this point. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever they're ready to put that film out,
I'll be ready to watch it.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be waiting to watch it. So, yep. Okay, cool. Well,
With that, we can jump on to our big main topic.
all right.
This is the main event of the evening.
Which is what, Mason?
Which is what have we been watching, where we kind of ping pong amongst ourselves and talk about all the shows we watched, which has been a metric poop ton because, boy, have I had a lot of time to watch anime, and you as well.
Yeah, I
retro stuff.
I'm not totally worthless, but almost this time as well. You know, I'm trying, and I'll start with an anime I want to watch really bad. My girlfriend and I, we both want to watch this, and it's, you know, a long time ago I used to go to a website called Anime Academy, and Anime Academy no longer exists. Some of you may remember this website because they had like very long, very good, very solid write-ups on animes, and then they'd give them a percentage on how good they were from 0 to 100. And I would always like try to watch the shows that were like close to 100. I remember I think their best score ever was Grave of the Fireflies. And then I was going down the list, and there were some anime on that list that I never got to watch because they were just really old even back then. And one of those was Kimagure Orange Road. So people think I don't like romance shows on this podcast. You'd be mistaken about that. And I've been trying to watch Kimagure Orange Road, which came out in 1987 from Studio Pierrot, and it's about 50 episodes long or so. And it's just like I didn't get very far in it because Retro Dive is just a terrible service. Like, it's great that they have all the retro shows on it, but the amount of times I've been watching Retro Dive and like the video will get stuck and the audio will keep playing is unbelievable. And I can't get through more than 5 minutes of episode 2 or more of Kimagure Orange Road on Retro Dive without it getting stuck. And it's just so brutal and frustrating because this anime has like gorgeous just 80s visuals, like the stuff like the visuals of anime that I really miss from back in the day. I love how the characters are drawn in this. Mm-hmm. The girls in it are super hot. Like even like the girl on the cover on like the bicycle with her hair flowing and she's got like her belly showing. It's not like over sexualized, but like these characters are like, I imagine that these girls from the show were like sex symbol type anime characters back in the 80s. You know, we had like Lum, from the 80s, and she's been super like idolized for a long time, and there's other characters as well that are like that. And nowadays there's like 02 in like some of these characters, but like these girls were like, they're really cute. The animation and art is exactly what I want. The boy in it is super great. Like he's such an amazing contrast to the character from Tonikaku Kawaii. Like he sees this like super hot girl in like a sundress, and he just talks to her like a person. And then he lives with like his
the power of the sundress. The sundress is really what makes it.
He's like counting the steps up this like walkway, and when he gets to 99, he gets to the top and he meets this girl, and she goes, "Oh, there's 100," and he's like, "Nope, there's 99," and then they agree, and then they just agree on like 99 and a half, and
oh, that's sweet.
Oh yeah, Captain Avatar says, "Don't you mean retro crush?" I don't know what I said before, but retro crush definitely is what I'm talking about, and getting stuck at least. And then like he lives with like his two sisters, and his whole family has like magic powers. They all have like telekinesis or something, and like they like knock a dresser around or something, and like clothes fly in the air, and like a bra lands on his head, and he like grabs the bra and he rips it off, and he just like throws it at him like, you like get this fucking shit out of here, instead of like having an aneurysm and like a nosebleed. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just really like this show. The setup of it was really great, but Retro Dive doesn't want me to watch Kimagure Orange Road. So
the setup's great, and that's it, because that's all you were able to watch.
Yeah, I can't fucking watch it. I just can't. I don't know. It won't let me. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
If you were able to continue it, how many episodes would it take to finish?
It's 48 episodes.
Okay, so it's a bit of an ask. You were really selling me on it. I might have to check it out.
Well, I think it's like one of those well-known like romance shows from the 80s. That's about all I can
Okay.
tell you about it. I'm trying to see who the original creator is here because it definitely has vibes of other shows, but my internet's being like pretty slow over here. So, but let's see, original creator is Izumi Matsumoto. So I'm not familiar with her work, but yeah, if you're able to get Retro Dive to work, I
Retro
check
Crush.
Retro Crush, whatever the fuck it's called, Snap Face, Insta Chat, whatever, Instabook, if you're able to get it to work, I check it out. I can't get mine too, so
Okay.
it's
I'll give it a shot.
it's a sad pony day for me.
Womp womp.
But Mason,
Yeah. My first one is a show called Figure 17, which is a very unique show. It came out in 2001 by Studio OLM, which did, things like Pokemon and Berserk. So you really have a good sense of what you're getting out of that studio. And it's interesting because the episodes are double length. So everything is 46 minutes instead of 23.
wow,
And it's a weird show in that the first 35 minutes tells the story of a very timid and shy girl named Tsubasa. She's in grade school. She's kind of forced to move to Hokkaido from Tokyo because her father wants to become a baker after her mother passes away. And she just can't really make friends because she's so unsociable and distanced from everyone. And the show is, like I said, for about 35 minutes of each episode is about her kind of growing up and learning to cope with life events and kind of discover who she is as a person. So it's very slice of life. And then the last 10 minutes of the show is ridiculous fights against aliens. Because the sub context of the show is that this alien crashes on Earth, and this alien who's known as Dee was transferring a spaceship full of aliens called Maguar. And there was 6 or 7 of these big alien monsters on this ship in these containers. And when it crashed, they exploded and broke out and got loose. And essentially, Tsubasa, this I can't say timid. I keep on messing it up. This timid girl somehow fuses with one of the containers, and when they're fused, they become this older, enhanced fighter. And this fused form is able to take down these aliens. And then when they're unformed, this other piece of the container turns into Tsubasa's twin. And so you get 2 twins, and they mind warp everyone, so they believe that this twin always existed. And so this twin named Hikaru just lives with Tsubasa and her father, and she goes to school with her and does all the slice of life stuff. And then each episode ends with them fusing back together to fight an alien.
So they can fuse?
Yeah, they can combine forces to become a powerful fighter to take down aliens after 35 minutes of doing a school play or picking out mittens.
Is that a prerequisite? Picking out mittens?
No, it's just unrelated. They're well, we need to kill the other 6 aliens that escaped, so we have to hang out on Earth, and the best way to do that is just to integrate into society. And because their connection is so strong, they are twin. I don't know who came up with this idea, and I love the fact that it exists.
Do they fusion dance or anything? Do they use earrings?
No,
or?
they kind of just hold hands and you get a little Mahou Shoujo transformation sequence, but it's not over the top, and the fighting is pretty rad. It's definitely, you can sense that it's from the people who made Berserk. Not that it's overly violent, but it has that kind of classical look to it, and it's just wild that it comes after the slow slice of life stuff, and it is a fantastic concept, and I'm just so glad that it exists. So if you're in for a very patient, mellow show, give it a shot. It's something, and I appreciate that.
Mason diving back into the 2001s.
Yeah, Figure 17.
Damn, that's a deep dive right there onto some obscure shit. I've never even heard of this. So
I mean, you're going back even further, so I don't know. It's
but
something.
people know Kimogure Orange Road.
I guess.
I've never heard of Figure 17. So, but hey, leave it to Mason. He's like a miner. He's gonna find the gems.
Digging deep.
He's digging deep into the earth.
I should say I watched 25 shows since our last segment on this, and I could go on for 8 podcasts about everything I watch. So I just cherry picked like 5 shows. So these are all like moderate to strong recommendations. So hopefully at least one of these you like.
Mason's just like pickaxing into the anime earth, and there's just like moe girls screaming and like glitter coming out. You're finding all kinds of great shit. All right, so I watched AD Police, which is a spinoff of Bubblegum Crisis. From I'm looking at AD Police right here, but this is not the right one. The one I watched is from like way back in the 80s, and I guess it makes sense if you watched Bubblegum Crisis, because Bubblegum Crisis is like about the night sabers and fighting like mechs that are like used in cityscapes, like for construction or whatever the fuck, and they go like rogue for whatever reason. But like the AD Police is like the second half of like it's night sabers, because there's like, of course there's like the night sabers who are kind of like the vigilantes that fight the boomers, and then there's also just like the police in the city, and that's essentially what like the AD Police is. And so it's like this really short like 3-episode spin-off that I also watched on Retro Crush. This one did not get stuck, and it's just kind of like how the police handle boomers, I guess, in their own way. And so there's definitely some interesting like cybernetic, like Ghost in the Shell-y type stuff going on here in this series that I'm pulling it up here. My internet is like really not working. It's from 1990-ish time frame.
Heck yeah.
And it still has like Leon in it. Leon's like the main police guy that you'd see in like Bubblegum Crisis. So he's in this. And there's like some pretty dark stuff in this series. It's only 3 episodes. Honestly, it's not that good really, but if you enjoy like the Bubblegum Crisis universe and you want to just see everything it has to offer, cuz there's like there's like a Bubblegum Crisis series, and then there's like the 8-episode OVA, and then there's like a couple spin-offs, and this is one of those. Because like in the 3rd episode, there's like this guy who he was a human, and I guess he was involved in like a lot of war, and he basically gets turned into a boomer basically to fight other boomers, and he's like lost.
A boomer, like a middle-aged man.
Yes, exactly. They're fight. It's like all these. There's like kicking all these like middle-aged men in the balls. Like, okay, boomer, boom, take this right to your boom, boomer, boomer, boom, right to your nuts. No, it's like he's like almost not human at all anymore, because so much of the parts of him that made him human have been converted into like machinery, and so he's almost like this human mind that's trapped inside of like nothing but like machine parts, and he's like losing his sanity. And so there's like a lot of some like dark stuff in this series, in that way, and it's okay. I mean, it's short. The episodes they're only normal length episodes. They're like not even like an hour. They're like 20. The whole runtime's like is like almost only an hour, but it's just interesting to see like the other side of, because you don't get to see the police workings that happen in Bubblegum Crisis all that much. It's usually just like some really, really shoddy police work, and then like the night sabers come in and like save everybody. But this is more where they are front and center, so you get to see like a couple like episodic shots of like how boomer crime is normally handled, and it's pretty neat. I'm just enjoying watching stuff from like that's old. It's like I don't even care if it sucks. I don't care if the dub is like the biggest pile of shit you've ever seen. I will watch it if it looks old. It's weird. It's like I love the charm of like hand-drawn animation, and I'm not sure if that's because I truly enjoy like the way things looked back in the 80s, or if it's just because I grew up watching stuff from like the mid 90s, etc. And I just have.
I think you just spend too much time looking at anime cells, and this is that period, so you're like, ooh, I'm hunting. This is my element. This is my aesthetic.
Oh my god. Yeah, speaking of anime cells, they just put Iria on Retro Crush, which is a really cool show that people should check out. And those anime cells are
6 episodes, 4 episodes.
6, yeah. And those cells are they cost a fortune. It's like a good shot of Iria's face is like $500. So, but yeah, that's AD Police. It's It might be worth checking out. I mean, if you're into the old anime and you like that universe. So, but I watched the OVA, not the TV series.
Nice.
Back to you, Mason.
Next one, I guess I'll jump to another show I actually just finished up. It's called Hanada Shonen Chi, which is kind of like the chronicles of like Hanada the boy. And this is a Madhouse show. It's done by the same mangaka as Piano no Mori, and it tells the story of a mischievous young boy named Hanada Ichiro, who essentially, after getting in a car accident while he's on his bike, he gets the ability to see and talk to ghosts. And essentially, this is a very slice of life. Like, I would say this is for fans of Natsume Yujinsho. Like, it's a real setting, a lot of ghosts and mythological stuff, and it's very heartwarming. But essentially, this bratty young boy kind of goes around, and he will get haunted by a ghost who is like someone who died in that town, who obviously needs something to be fulfilled so that they can pass on, and kind of bullies him until he gives up and accepts and tries to help them pass on. And it's usually 1 or 2 episode arcs. It usually ends with a big emotional payoff, and it is a very good show. And it's kind of funny seeing how the ghosts hunt him, because they're all just regular people who died. And like, there's a bunch of scenes where they have to like get ready to haunt him. Like, there's this one like old Obaba, this old grandmother who's like, it's like, oh, please, like, plant a flower here for my young boy or whatever. And he's like, no, no, no. So she like works on like disheveling her hair so that she can like jump out and scare him. Like, it's, I don't know, it's got such a charm and life to it. So it's a very good show. The problem is that there is constant like dirty juvenile jokes and like toilet humor.
God,
like,
it's rated
snot
R.
and piss and poop and just penises and
What?
the boobs. Like, there's just nudity constantly. Like,
What?
because it's like a seinen manga. Like, if you like Crayon Shin-chan, it's just like nonstop. You're just looking at private parts flopping all over the place, because he's just that unbounded that he's just whipping around the place naked. So if you can get past that very big hurdle, it is a very sweet and charming show that is something, and it's interesting, and it's not for everyone, but it's I watched it and I enjoyed it. So there you go.
It's very like funny that you say all that, because the characters in this are all like little. I'm looking at the cast. They're all like little kids. And there's like even like a cat or dog animal. What the hell is this? Jiro?
Yeah,
what
it's
the
this
fuck is
little
this?
dog.
He's like a
He's
little
a cutie.
dog. The characters almost look like something out of like Future Boy Conan or something.
Yeah,
And-
it definitely has a older styling to it.
And it's fucking rated R.
And it know what the best part
What?
about it? The opening song and the ending song are both done by the Backstreet Boys.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
What in the
Once
Oh,
again,
you're
figure
right.
17. 35 minutes of like slice of life, 10 minutes of alien fights.
How
This
does-
show, Backstreet Boys and heartwarming ghost stories, dicks for days. Like,
How does that even
amazing.
happen?
it's amazing.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's worth checking out. I mean, it's got a good score on Mao. Another show I've never heard of it. Another
Hanada
show from the
Shonen-chi.
another show from like the 2001-2002 era.
Yeah, it's like I say, big caution warning, lots of nudity, but if you can just accept that that's how kids in rural villages who are just that rebellious act, and it's unnecessary a lot of times. Like there's a whole like arc where this really like prim and proper like school teacher who's like strict on everyone dies, and Hanada goes to help him, and like when he's like tussling him around, his like, I'm sorry to be lewd and paint a picture here, but his like nutsack like flops out of his kimono, and he's like, you like, don't get me help. Like, I refuse to be saved if someone will see me like this. Like, you need to like it becomes a big plot point that his sack is on display. Like, it's absurd, but the fact that it exists, like Figure 17, just amuses me. So
Wow.
it's something.
Yeah, you said nutsack, just so you know.
I did. Please don't shame me.
It's like, note to self, Mason said nutsack at about 30 minutes. Get
Yeah.
the drop ready for nutsack.
Dude chokes on mochi and his nutsack flops out. That's what a way to go.
I mean, that sack itself is a little Mochi-esque. So, I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, that is what it is. So some guy, like, watches this other guy bite into a piece of mochi, and he's like, oh God.
Feel that pain.
You feel the pain. All right. Well, as I alluded to, the next anime that I'm talking about is Bubblegum Crisis itself, the OVA from 1987. Yes, the one that's the 8-episode OVA that starts with a rock concert with none other than Pris herself, which, just features the song Konya wa Hurricane, which is like, I don't know, iconic as fuck. So like just watching Pris like do like performing the Konya wa Hurricane. If you haven't heard Konya wa Hurricane, you gotta go like the YouTube and pull up that song because it's.
I might have. I'm gonna do it right now.
It's like some of the best like 80s rock you're gonna hear from an anime. The song itself is competitive with any opening theme that I've heard. And then watching them, like, literally, she's, like, got her 80s hair, and she's, like, rocking out on the stage, and they're playing the fucking song. And, yeah, Rainbow Warrior and says, play it, it's Twitch. Yeah, Twitch will rub us out for piracy in, like, 5 seconds. Otherwise, I definitely would. But, yeah, and then, like, the show itself, besides from just, like, setting the total tone of the era in the late 80s, it's just.
I'm jamming out to it now.
You're listening to it?
I am.
Now I'm gonna ask you. Like I know, and I'll definitely put this song in on for the people on iTunes. But I know you're loving the song.
I am.
It's
it
fucking
was like
good.
The Minion Tank Police that we talked about last after party. Like similar vibes were just the good tunes of this era just can't be messed with.
Yeah, there's just a certain like charm and to the music and everything else from this period of time. And like no, the animation's not like unbelievable. The dub is super bad. I mean, it is really fucking bad. Like it's almost like you want to watch the dub because it sucks so bad that you just want to like laugh at it. Like
it goes from bad to charming.
Oh yeah, like there are some characters that like they pull off the dub pretty well, like they sound okay, and then there's some characters that you just know they just dragged some guy off the street and they gave him like a hot dog and like a bag of chips and they're like, will you just like record these lines, and he just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I say he because I think that most of the lightsaber girls in this like have pretty good voice actors, but like a lot of like the random like side character like police officers and stuff, this all seem to be dudes. Like their voices are fucking horrible, but it's just hilarious. But this is a lot like AD Police, like the OVA. But rather than having like the police force, you have Pris and Nene and Cilia and Lynn and the rest of like the awesome like lightsaber cast of characters. Putting on their mech suits. They're not really like, I guess it is mecha sort of, but they're more like. They're more form-fitting. I don't know how to describe it.
Is it like Metal Fighter Miku? Or it's like smaller? It's almost like Iron Man units?
Yes, like Iron Man units, basically. Okay. Yeah, but even more sleek than that, I would say. Like not even that bulky. It almost looks like they're just like wearing tights, sort of. But like this era of anime still put a lot of detail into stuff like the cockpit on a spaceship would have like hundreds of fucking buttons and switches and shit, and they'd be like hitting the switches and buttons. And I posted about this on like the Discord, or like there would be like they're like in a car, and just like the way that they design the radio in the car, like I just don't feel like I see a lot of that anymore, where they'll like literally put so much fucking effort just into like the dials on the radio and the detail on like the machinery. And so like there's some pretty good shots in this of like Boomer, like crazy I've gone rogue Boomer, like machine parts, like their arms and stuff. Like they'll like blow a Boomer's arm off, and there's like the cables and shit are like dangling out of his arm, like, and you get like some pretty good cool detail on like the engineering of like however they like envisioned the engineering of the machinery, and it's pretty cool. I also wouldn't say this is like super great, but this is like a classic fucking anime. Like Bubblegum Crisis, the OVA, is definitely a classic show. It's passable for sure. I think it's worth watching. It's only 8 episodes. It's an easy watch, but they're longer. They're like 45 minutes apiece. So it's got some length to it, but like Pris is just super cool. So I mean, if you want to watch like some 4 really cool girls like fight crime in like their vigilante like lightsaber suits, it's pretty worth checking out. If you want to head back to like 1987. And by the way, Retro Crush, like when it does work, is super great that these anime are free. It's a free service. Like I got mad at it earlier because I really wanted to watch Orange Road, but for every time it works, I'm like, this is fucking amazing. Like the fact that I can watch Bubblegum Crisis for free in my bedroom at night it's changed everything, honestly. Like, I'm going back and watching old shows that I missed out on. So if you want to check it out, do it. Bubblegum Crisis, OVA, 1987.
Learn all about the boomers.
Learn about the boomers. They're all like complaining about young people. They're,
Even their limbs blown off.
Yeah, it's like when I was young, coffee was free. Stuff shit like that. So, and they kick him in the balls. People are like, "Is he kidding? Is that really what's going on?" So
you'll have to watch it and find out.
Yeah, and yeah, this is some good stuff. So back to you, Mason.
Next one is a show that I've brought up before, but now I've officially finished it. It's called Gallery Fake. It is the meditative nature of Bartender mixed with the art appreciation of Hyogemono, mixed with the throwback coolness of Big O, mixed in a blender and combined. And it is a mostly mature story. It tells the tale of Fujita, who's the owner of a art gallery in Tokyo called Gallery Fake. And this art gallery deals with both fake and authentic art pieces alike. And he's like involved with the black market, and he sometimes is involved with like proper establishments. And essentially he grew up as like an art restorer. He worked at like the Met in New York City in this universe, obviously. And he kind of just goes around and is either contracted to help out people with, restoring a piece of art, finding a piece of art, evaluating a piece of art, like determining its authenticity, and just kind of getting involved in various art hijinks as you, the viewer, learn about real life art pieces and some of the story behind them. It's another episodic show because I guess that's all I watched recently. It's and him and his lovable assistant Sarah kind of get wrapped up and involved in some manner of art, as I said, and you just relax and you learn a bit about stuff. And all the characters are mostly adult, and it's kind of fun. There are a few misses every here and there, but every episode starts off and you're just like, it's another thing about art. Okay, I get it. And usually by the end, I'm like, no, that was solid. That was a nice little lesson. I loved, obviously, the episodes that focus more on like, oh, we need to like get this kind of temperature to remove this process because this oil separates on this kind of canvas. Like when they get really into the technical side of things, I think is really interesting. But even when they don't, it's a nice relaxing show. So if you like any of the shows I mentioned earlier, it's at least worth checking out. I think it's like 30 something episodes, so it's quite a haul, and you'll need to watch all of it. But the first OP is an absolute banger, even though it's not by the Backstreet Boys. But I liked it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, so 37 episodes.
37 episodes. Gallery Fake. I don't remember what studio did it.
TMS Entertainment. My Dr. Stone boys.
There you go.
By the way,
this is just the building up to it.
By the way, speaking of bangers, that new Dr. Stone opening from Fuji Fabric is some hot shit. It's fucking good.
They don't have an ending with them saying like "Good night, world." I'm gonna be disappointed to like mirror the opening of season 1.
I don't know. They played the opening as the ending for the first episode, so I haven't heard the ending yet. But the opening was fucking great. I think it's called Rakuen. Dude, it's fucking, check that shit out. Another song for you to check out. It's some good shit. Something that's not good shit is an anime that I haven't finished yet, but I will. I was like, I want to watch an old show that's like notorious. I want to be all edgy and cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, what are the really violent like 80s shows? Like all these shows I'm talking about are from like 1986 to like 1990. And this 1989, I'm not going to say the title yet. In 1989 OVA, 6 episodes. done by Studio Dast. I've never heard of them. They
Like D-A-S-T?
Oh, they didn't do much. Okay, so all right, so they did Violence Jack,
Have not seen.
Battle Royale High School, and
No.
Yume Makura Baku Twilight Gekijo. And Seki Soy in the chat nailed it already. It's Angel Cop from 1989. It's so bad.
He knows what's up.
It's so bad. And you know what? It's not that violent. It's like everyone's like, oh my God, Genocyber and Angel Cop. And oh, it's so violent. It really isn't that violent. Like what? What is this show even about? It's like there is a character named Angel, and she is a cop, and she does ride a motorcycle, and she's pretty cool. But there's like in the future, there's like all this terrorism in Japan, and the police can't even, like, they're involved in the crime too. And then there's like this girl named Angel who's just like a justice fighter. And then like episode 2 and 3 just made no sense at all because there's like these different groups trying to kill each other, and there's like this psychic dude who, there's like this psychic girl who can like light people on fire. She's like Firestarter or something. And then there's like this dude who's like a psychic that can like drift through walls and stuff. It's really bad. This is like one I kept dozing off during. But there's like these two psychics, and then there's like some cybernetic people with like cybernetic fighters in it, and you know, they're just trying to solve crime and like, you know, just be good like justice fighting police, but they're, you know, kind of on the edge of what's right, I think. And I got to finish watching it. I've only watched about half of it. But like, this is not violent. Like, it's not that bad. Like, there was a shot where a person got shot in the face with a gun, like in the first episode, and like his eyeball fell out or something. And I was like, oh, his eyeball fell out. Like, that was interesting. But
did his nutsack fall out?
His nutsack didn't fall out. I mean,
not edgy enough. Then.
You know, his mochi's intact. You know, I expected like people ripping out spinal columns and shit. So if I finish this one, I probably won't talk about it again because it's just not very good. You know, it's got like a 5 on Mal. It's not very good. It's pretty bad.
Yikes!
It's a 5.9, but it, you know, might as well be a 5. And I might not finish it, but we'll see. But there are some cool like motorcycle like scenes, chase scenes and stuff. So it still has like that 80s flair to it, you know, that I talked about from Bubblegum Crisis, same era of time. But boy, I wonder what happened to the studio. Like, they didn't do shit. Like, they existed for like a few years and then they went bye-bye. Like, they made anime from 1986 to they made 4 anime from 1986 to 1991, spanning a total of 12 total episodes, and then they vanished.
They made 4 episodes or 4 shows, and they're like, "That's it."
They didn't. Someone must have bought them or something. But Angel Cop is really the last thing, other than Inuyasha, which just continues to go nowhere. Like, I like Inuyasha a lot, but that show is such a waste of time. It just doesn't do anything. So. Oh man! All right. Well, hey, I wasn't totally worthless this time around on here. So
no, you did good.
Back to you, Mason.
I'll do my last 2 real quick. And obviously, if you want my thoughts on like IQ or Wandering Witch or Talentless Nana or Town Where You Live or Setokai Yakundomo, just talk to me on Discord because I want to talk about those shows. But the 2 shows I want to talk about now, the first one actually kind of finished airing not too long ago was Moriarty the Patriot, which you did an impression on a while ago, Mitz.
Yeah, I just don't like. I just
don't
want
to report back that it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It wasn't amazing, but like it was definitely one of the better Sherlockian efforts in recent memory. And once it got going, it was fine. It was fun, and season 2 is coming out. So while I don't think it would have been worth a full review, I had fun with it, and I'm excited to see where it will go now that the inevitable rivalry between Sherlock and Moriarty has kind of begun. So, I don't know. It wasn't bad. I dug it.
It's just not my speed, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not really into Sherlock. I'm not really all that into, like, mysteries, and I don't know. It wasn't my thing.
Yeah, no sweat. The other show I want to talk about was actually recommended to me by Waviev. I'm not too sure how to pronounce your name, despite talking with him constantly. Recommended to me Akagi, which is the prequel to Kaiji, the the over-the-top gambling one that everyone knows about with the ridiculous noses. And honestly, Akagi is way better than Kaiji.
Wow.
It's so much better. Now, to be fair, it is harder to get into because you do need to know the rules of Mahjong to play. Like, it is a semi-complex game, and unlike a sports anime, which teaches you the rules, it really doesn't, and there's a ton of rules to know, and you don't need to be an expert and know, like, the scoring system, but knowing, like, the core mechanics of Mahjong is required. Like, I watched 2 episodes and said, you know what, I need to learn this game to enjoy this, and I'm glad I did, because the first 2 matches of Akagi are spectacular, and even though the third arc doesn't quite reach that level, and it kind of has an ending that some people might not be satisfied with, I enjoyed it, and it doesn't have the same over-the-topness, but it is much more tricky and clever in the cheating mechanics because it's tied to a single game, and I really liked it. So if you like Kaiji and haven't really taken the plunge with Akagi and are willing to learn Mahjong, I'd say do it, because I liked it a whole lot more.
Yeah, they said they definitely have like the sharp chins and noses.
That aesthetic is not going away anytime soon. They have that look and they're sticking to it.
You could like take his head off and like stab someone with the depth of his chin.
Yeah.
It's like, I just fucker, just stab him.
I feel like Kaiji is definitely an easier boarding on point and why it's more popular. So do that, but he is base. So check that out if you want. But that's all the real good stuff that I wanted to talk about today. Anything else?
No, I just hope I can get Kimogure Orange Road to work, because it's weird. Again, like it's on their spot. It's like the #1 show on their spotlight. It's like what they're advertising, and then it doesn't work. So maybe they'll fix it, and I'll be able to talk about it next time. But
yeah, that'd be nice. And I'll check it out. I'll check it out as well. See if I can get it working. I've
been watching a lot more anime lately. I've been ahead on my review watching, so I've been able to do like a little extracurriculars. So because like there haven't been that many games lately that I've been all pumped up about. So so it comes and goes, you know. Anime then games, and it's anime then it's games. So right now it's anime, I guess. So gonna keep watching, and hopefully I'll have more for you next time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing. People, let us know in the Discord and all that what you are watching and what we should watch. I'm always up for recommendations. But with that, we will go to our news break. And before we go, we will leave you with a quick trivia question. In the Misfit of Demon King Academy, what is the favorite dish of Anos Voldagogue, the most powerful demon in history? We'll let you know in just a bit. Stay tuned.
Get ready for your confessions. You will be judged. Hey Anime Addicts, this is Mitsugi, and I'm here bringing you your anime news break, leading us off with a new anime announcement. Original TV anime Shiroi Suna no Aquatrope, otherwise in English translated as Aquatrope of White Sand. It was announced via the production company Infinite's official website that this is going to be coming out for a premiere scheduled for July 2021. The art and concept design looks gorgeous. The synopsis: Kukuru Umi Sakino is an 18-year-old high school girl working at an aquarium who meets Fuuka Miyazawa, a former idol and who lost her place in Tokyo and escaped. Fuuka will spend her days in the aquarium with her own thoughts in mind. However, the crisis of closing is approaching for the aquarium, and as the girls explore their dreams and reality, loneliness and friends, bonds and conflicts. So the director is Toshiya Shinohara of Irozuku Sekai no Ashitakara. The anime production is being done by PA Works, the studio PA Works. So there is a trailer available online for this property, so if you want to go watch it, I would check it out. It looks very gorgeous, and apparently is being very highly talked about on the internet, and there's already a lot of anticipation for it. Next up, speaking of popular anime, the Crunchyroll Awards announced their nominees for their 5th annual Anime Awards. In the Best Anime of the Year category, the nominees are Appare Ranman, Beastars, Dorohedoro, Great Pretender, Jujutsu Kaisen, and lastly, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. So if you are a fan of anime, you'll want to check out the Crunchyroll Awards, which is going to be happening not too long from now, the voting is open until January 22nd, and then I'm sure the award show will happen pretty soon after that. Next up, Crunchyroll again reveals the most watched anime of 2020 by global region. The anime most commonly appearing throughout the world were Black Clover in 87 countries, Jujutsu Kaisen in 71 countries, and Boruto in 32 countries, Shonen just continuing to dominate. The top anime in each continent for North America, Jujutsu Kaisen came in first place. In South and Central America, My Hero Academia. In Europe, My Hero Academia once again. Middle East and Africa, Jujutsu Kaisen. And in Asia, Boruto. And finally, Oceania, Jujutsu Kaisen. So, just typical stuff, shonen dominating what people watch, more or less, as. In addition, I would note that pretty much the entire top 10 most watched anime throughout the world were all shonen. Next up, Rido the Healer, an anime coming out that already has had a ton of controversy despite having barely aired, issued a content warning on their Twitter account ahead of its television release, which I guess was last week. The message read, "This program is fiction and bears no relation to any existing place, person, or organization. Furthermore, the content is not made to endorse any specific way of thinking or belief. The work includes extreme violence. Children and young people are advised against viewing it." So this is a, quote, revenge fantasy light novel that is written by Rui Tsukiyo. So if you want to read more about the plot synopsis, feel free to do so. I do agree with the way that they handled the disclaimer, as I think that content like this should be disclaimed in order to prevent people that would not want to be watching it from, viewing it in the first place. So Rido the Healer is the latest in the line of offensive anime. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, time to get back to the podcast right now.
Hey there, listeners. We just want to take a second and thank you for all of your support. We have received requests for additional ways that you can help support us, and we really appreciate every bit of it. We wanted to come up with ways that we can also help give back, and so we decided that for the first 3 months of 2021, half of all of our additional support that we receive will be donated to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And many of you may already know this, or if you're new to the podcast, I was born with cystic fibrosis. And the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is a donor-funded, nonprofit organization that helps fund research for drugs that will help people like me live a longer life. So if you want more information on that, you can check out the cff.org website. And again, we appreciate all of your support. You're awesome, and thank you so much for listening.
Hi, this is Tiffany Grant. Remember me? Oscar Langley Soryu. Anyway, I'm a total anime addict, and if you're not listening to Anime Addicts Anonymous, what are you, stupid?
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
Do they make reverse kotatsus? A kotatsu that is cooling instead of heating. Just be like, I'm just gonna sit underneath here and chill my balls,
That's called a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Called a refrigerator.
Putting my balls in your refrigerator.
Just open your refrigerator, stick your leg up on the countertop with your balls just hanging free.
One day you're gonna walk into your kitchen and you're just gonna see my bare ass sticking out of your fridge.
Your 14-year-old daughter comes home with her friend from school, and Dad is just sitting in the kitchen with his hairy ass and his balls hanging down in front of the fridge. Like, Dad, not again!
No, he's sitting on the floor in the living room, and he's brought the fridge with him, and he's like laid it down on top of his body.
Just chilling
Come,
himself.
let's sit around the reverse kotatsu together, children.
My Lord's in heaven.
That would be amazing.
Can it be a father-son edition where the son is on a platform?
That's the advertisement.
And he's cooling his balls too, in the freezer.
Right. Yes, exactly. And then you have the kid standing underneath.
So the dad's balls are hanging on top of the little kid.
They're not touching them.
It's kind of like an intimate tea bag.
Yeah, he's going under the bridge.
And now, back to the podcast.
As I read this question through my blurry vision from countless LASIK eye drops. In the Misfit of Demon King Academy, what is the favorite dish of Anos Valdigode, the most powerful demon in history? I believe it was mushroom gratin. Cooked by
That's correct.
Cooked by his mom, I think, who just charming people.
Really, they really are.
They're very thrilled that their son brings home a new wife every episode. Or almost every episode. Anyway, so yeah. So we have a new segment here, and again, if you want to contribute to this segment, it is a listener-driven segment, as we have so many of. If you go to our website, aaapodcast.com, there is a mailbag button along the top of the site, and in there is now an option for Anime Addicts Confessional. Years ago, we sat down at Anime SuperCon in like the year 2010-ish and interviewed people at the con and had them confess their anime sins in front of the podcast, which was a pretty big hit. We had a lot of people that submitted, and this is kind of a combination of my Pope Mitsugi routine, which I haven't done a lot of lately, and that sort of confessional spirit. And hopefully this will be pretty fun for you guys, and it's the maiden voyage, so I hope it goes well. I have some drops prepared for you, so let's get going. So the first confession is by Pope Mitsugi himself. Pope Mitsugi writes, Heavenly Pope, smiter of Moe, and leader of the acolytes of the Church of Mitsugi, I have sinned. I watched and enjoyed the anime Bofuri, and even nominated it for Anime of the Year in our Discord Awards. I recognize my Moe sin and have again started down the righteous path, beginning with not nominating Bofuri for Anime of the Year in the AAA Podcast Anime Oscars. May my sin be forgiven, or am I destined to sink into the darkness of the anime pit of hell? Thanks, sincerely, Pope Mitsugi. Well, Pope Mitsugi, I have to say that while your sins are egregious, how can one possibly forgive others if one cannot forgive thyself? Thyself hath already retreaded the righteous path, and so your sins have been forgiven. But not all will be so lucky. Oh, another person is entering the booth. Hero Yui135. My confession is that I have a deep and extensive database of waifus, and sometimes I have dreams of them interacting with one another. So much so that I've come up with a name, The Colony, and sometimes I dream of interacting with them like a giant harem anime. Please forgive me, for I have sinned, unless it's unsalvageable and I must face the fate that awaits me at the bottom. Well, that is quite a sin, and while your sin is not specifically Moe, I must say that you cannot be saved. And so I cast your blighted, sinful soul into the anime pit of hell. There's plenty of Moe at the bottom to fuel your colony. Now be gone! Amen! Okay.
Truly leading by example and humbling yourself.
Listen, you have to recognize your own sin in order to see the sin in others. And so, if you would like to submit your sins to the Anime Confessional, you can write in the mailbag, and maybe in version 2 of this segment, we'll just have people call in and you can read your sins to me. That would be even better. So
that would be great. And this would be, like you said, so cool to do at a convention. Just getting random passerbyers to commit their anime sins for us.
It's what it's all about, man. Just, you know.
It really is.
So people in the chat seem to like the segment, so and maybe in the future we'll do call-ins. So, all right. Well, if you want to submit your sins, you know where to do it. And now moving on to, are we ready to move on?
I think so. All
right, we're moving on to mailbags then.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
And I assume you can drop these at the same place you drop your anime conventions, right? You just go to our website, aaapodcast.com, click on mailbags at the top, and you click on your confession, type it in, you click on mailbag, type it in. It's a one-shop stop, right?
Just do it!
You heard the man. We actually got two for you today because they'll be pretty quick. First comes from Harrius Walker. They write, I was wondering why Funimation had kept Shimoneta around, but not Ishizoku reviewers. Would one of you guys be able to provide an answer?
Jesus Christ.
Kind of a fine line, but in my opinion, having seen them both, Ichizoku reviewers was far more objectionable than Shimoneta. Shimoneta pretty much stops at like dumb jokes and potty sex humor, while Ishizoku is, I mean, even censored, had a lot of sexual scenes in it. Like, I think, honestly, that, you know, Shimoneta would have been rated, like, PG-13, and Ishizoku reviewers would have been rated R, probably censored or uncensored. Now, that being said, I don't think I would have removed either of them. I think that I'm going to stand by my position that people should put disclaimers and warnings up, and then if people don't want to listen to the warnings that are given, then that's their problem. But I wouldn't have removed either of them, honestly, but you know, whatever. I don't know what like the rules and laws and stuff that apply. So
I prefer to think that the whole point of Shimoneta is that like censoring and like locking up these feelings are not good and like lead to more negativity. So like if Funimation had like censored it by not allowing a show talking about the censoring of this kind of thing, they would have been played by their own game. So we do not work at Funimation. We can't say for certain either way, but yeah, I think it's just Ishizoku is just that next level of perhaps more egregious and offensible content. So only our conjecture, but that's the best we got for you. Next one comes from longtime listener, longtime mailbag provider Yotaru Vegeta, who says that he has some trash for us. In the dark pink trash bag, we have sussy trash. What is the darkest of dark black bags?
Wait a second, I don't mean to stop you. What is sussy?
I have no idea. I went to the google.com, and then I went to the Urban Dictionary, and I looked up sussy, and it's sexy plus sassy, it says. I don't know if it's a typo. I don't know if it's what he meant. We have sussy trash. We also have a dark black bag, which is edgelord trash, and we have a bag full of holes, which is dumb trash. And he asks, which do you pick? You have to choose one, or you love Moe forever. Sussy trash, edgelord trash, or dumb trash? So I love Moe already, so I guess I pick none, but I guess whatever Ceci is seems less objectionable than the others. Like, Ceci can still be good, more so than, I don't know. I pick all the trash. Give me all of it. I'm just a raccoon boy. I just scavenge through it all, and I eat up all this trash, because it's all anime, baby.
I struggle with, like, what edgelord like, I don't know, like, all these like terminologies, like I'm not even sure really. I guess I'm okay with the edgelord. If Ceci is like the Why Are You Here Sensei anime, then like I'm okay with that. I don't like dumb things very much. I don't really care for dumb, so I would say not that. So I'd have to take the pink trash bag or the dark black trash bags. Personally, I use white trash bags in my real life, so. You know, I don't see that option here, but sometimes they do get holes in them when I fill them too much with stuff. So, Yotaru Vegeta is always bringing, like, the interesting mailbags.
He probably has typed up more in mailbags over the entire, like, history of this podcast than I've spoken. Like, he just, he keeps them coming, and I appreciate it. And everyone who leaves mailbags. So, leave them, and we'll thank you.
Chibi Rob, Icy Rose, and Yotaru Vegeta are like in a three-way battle to see who the oldest like listener of this podcast is. I'd have to like go on our old Discord, like on our old forum, which I don't even know if that still exists, and like see who signed up first. So,
not the oldest as in they are old, but as in they've been listening the longest.
I know our forum still exists. I'd have to go in there and see like who signed up first. So,
oh my goodness, there's gonna be one person in there. Like, where did everyone go? Like, not getting that Discord was the new place. Where is everybody?
Anyway, so, or, Icy Rose probably just knows who the oldest listener is. Anyway, let me know. So we're going to do a review now of The Misfit of Demon King Academy. Oh, the Japanese title is not here. Okay, I got to fix this. I'll fix this. Because we said we were going to read it. Holy shit, it's long. One breath. Mao Gakuen no Fukeki Gosha Shijo Saikyo no Mao no Shiso Tensei Shite Shison Tachi no Gakoe, or The Misfit of Demon King Academy. History's strongest demon king reincarnates and goes to school with his descendants. What the fuck?
Was that the title or the synopsis?
Both. I feel like that one was easy. I don't know.
It is. It's not that bad.
That wasn't that hard. It's on Crunchyroll. This show came out in the summer of 2020. This is like we're like pretty much done with summer of 2020 now. So this is like way back. I passed it on episode 535. The synopsis: in the distant past, a war between humans and demons caused lots of chaos and wars. And to put an end to this conflict, the setup for the show is that the Demon King, Anos Valdigo, despite being a Demon King, decided he would do something nice for the world and sacrifice his life in order to like put barriers between the kingdoms that were at war constantly to try to like bring peace to the world. And in preparation for the king's return, the demon race created the Demon King Academy, an elite school that would be tasked with determining the new Demon King's identity when he would reawaken. He does reincarnate 2,000 years later, but he learns that the level of magic in the world has drastically fallen, probably because there's not really any need for it because there's no war or anything. I don't think they really get into that all that much. However, when he enrolls at the academy to reclaim his title, he finds out that demonkind remembers him differently, and his deeds and legacy were all falsified, and history was changed. And this lack of common knowledge renders him the academy's outlier, or a misfit, never before seen in history. Done by Studio Silverlink of Bofuri, Masumuni's Revenge. Director Masafumi Tamuda of The Wise Man's Grandchild and Anga Vierge. So, I had lots of expectations going into this because I'd already seen it. But Mason, what were your expectations?
I had not watched the show when it was airing. I just let it slip by me. I don't like Silverlink. Like,
just in general?
Their shows don't appeal to me.
Oh,
the look
no
of them, the
way.
content of them, and they have had a killer 2020. Everything they did in 2020 was passed on the show. Winter, they did Bofuri. Spring, they did My Next Life as a Villainess. Summer was this show. Fall, they did Our Last Crusade. Like, everything they put out, you and Mandy were like, yeah, let's pass it. And I'd never really dig their shows. And so I came in with pretty low expectations. That said, when the main character, Anos, placed highly in our top husbandos of 2020, I thought, you know what? Maybe he's such a strong character that people love him. It gave me a slight hint that it might be solid. So I was coming in very doubtful to this show.
You know what's amazing is that Silverlink, they have a lot of anime here on their to their name, but a lot of it's like the same thing. They've got like I swear to God, there's like 12 known. How many known BODs are there in here? 14? There's no.
I mean, there's
way.
movies and OVAs and spin-offs. They're not like full
3, 4,
series length.
5, 6. Oh yeah, I get that. There's a ton of known. We're gonna find an anime here from Silverlink you like.
I like Tanaka-kun is always listed. So that's not bad. Like Kokoro Connect, not bad.
Okay.
Like they have a couple that are fine, but like on a whole, Silverlink just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we found. Okay, you made it easy for me. I was gonna run down this whole list, make a big fuss about it.
No.
We don't even need to. So I watched the first 3 episodes of this and then passed it, and I rather enjoyed the first 3 episodes of it. I really liked the sort of like twisty backstab that went down at the end of episode 3 with what the fuck's her name? Sasha. Her name is Sasha. Yeah. Sasha pulls like some crafty backstabby shit at the end of episode 3, which is right where I left off, and I was like, wow, this anime is like different than I thought. You know, there's a lot of shows that are kind of like this one, but I also think summer of 2020 was like a super weak season, but this show kind of appealed to me. I liked Anos. I liked his parents, and so like my expectation was a little high on it, but I didn't expect it to be like a deep story. I decided it would be kind of fun. So that being said, Mason, do you recommend The Misfit of Demon King Academy? And if so, who would you recommend it to?
Ooh, that's tough, because I'm a little uncertain about this show, because I don't know if it's a bad show because it's just an unentertaining series that tries to be really serious, or I don't know if it's a bad show because it's trying to be like a parody on the overpowered genre and just isn't funny or clever on it. Like, it doesn't commit to either camp. I don't know, like, the plot is like very trite and carbon copy. The characters are mostly daft and clueless, so they do have pretty good attempt or reason behind that. The world building, the visuals, the pacing are all kind of demerits. Like, I just am not into the overpowered character genre. I don't find Anos all that interesting in that regard. Yes, I get the disconnect of the show between having this brutal Demon King massacring people as he chastises them for not being kinder and more accepting. But the whole like royalty versus like peasant theme is just a little too overdone alongside the overblown evil characters. The show is vapid, it's unimaginative, it's rudimentary, or as you guys might call it, fun. So luckily, as opposed to being like too edgy, it does come off as wholesome and kind of talks about believing in oneself, the absurdity of discrimination, and it has a really funny like family dynamic with parents that remind me of like Isaac and Miriam from Bakano. So it wasn't a miserable experience. The show just isn't for me, and I feel like a lot of people enjoyed the show because it's very easy to watch. It has that fantasy overpowered setting, and it has the occasional twist that makes it just easy to marathon. So I don't think once this episode is over, I will ever like remember that the show existed of my own volition. But if you want something light and breezy to just fill the time, it's for those kind of people, but I can't recommend it myself.
I would say that I enjoyed watching the show pretty well. I mean, it's broken into different story arcs for sure. There's like, I mean, loosely, I guess there's like the setup arc, and then there's like the arc where they go and they have like they interact with like the hero school, and then there's like they wrap it up at the end. And I mean, I think I enjoyed watching the show. I mean, it's predictable in that Anos is so much more powerful than everybody else in the show that he can't be beaten. It's impossible. He will beat everybody, mostly without effort. But I thought the show was pretty fun, and I enjoyed like some of the action scenes were entertaining. I like magic. I like glyphs and all this crap. That there's always like a magic glyph. And I think if there was a person that if you're a person that like wants a lot of story, if you're like, oh, I gotta have a great story with deep character development, I mean, it's not really this is not really the show for it. But if you're looking for just like a show that kind of feels good, and you like some action and you like magic, and you like if you like other if you were to tell me, oh, I like other anime that have overpowered characters like How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, maybe, stuff like that, then I could recommend this. I think it's a decent enough fantasy show. It's not the best fantasy show, but it's decent enough, recommendable to those sorts of people. And I liked Anos more than like most. I like him better than like the How to Not Summon a Demon Lord character. So, yeah. So I think I'd recommend it pretty well. More than the last couple shows that we reviewed. So, with that said, let's go to some spoilers because we gotta talk about the show more.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
You've been warned, spoilers. So, there's not much story in the show, but I kind of liked the story that was there. Like, I liked how the hero, Canon, his name is like kind of scheming on his own to, I guess, protect Anos, because the humans hate the demons so much in this show that they're basically been plotting to kill Anos again, I guess, since the minute he died. Or the minute he gave his life up, even though they kind of changed history so that he sounds like a bad guy. And the penultimate spoiler is that like the hero, he has his own plan to kind of help the demon, and at the end of the day, though, his plan doesn't really work. Doesn't really work very well. So, I mean, how did you feel about the story, Mason? I know it doesn't do a lot.
Yeah, like it's like you said, it's a fun show, but when you start analyzing it, I felt like it crumbled really easily. Almost every enemy that he fights is someone under mind control. Like he fights Ibis. Oh, he's a bad guy. Actually, no, he's under mind control. Episode 7, they do the sword tournament arc. Oh, it's another good guy who's controlled by the bad guy. Like constantly, it was meeting a character. They're like, oh, you're a filthy casual. You're not a elite like us. There's no way you can be the Demon King. They get defeated and they're like, I was under a spell the whole time. Now I'm a good guy. Like it was just him going around joining people to his cause, and like there's so many moments that were just so inconvenient in the sense that like the way they transmitted like exposition. Like in episode 7, they learn about this whole situation of Lei, this hero reincarnate that is his friend, being once again forced to do bad things. And how do we learn about that? Well, we get the spirit conscious of his mother that is in a coma, but can suddenly communicate to them because a mysterious secret happened, which activates her ability to tell them everything that's going on, so that they can learn that Lei is actually just being controlled by these other people. Like, it was just so hammy. And I guess there's an audience to it, but I guess I didn't find it funny. Like, the only funny part of this entire show that I thought really made me chuckle was in episode 1, when he's killing this dude and then reviving him and killing him and reviving him.
He kills him.
I can keep on killing you as long as I revive you within 3 seconds. I call it the 3-second rule. Like, clearly a play on like picking up food off the ground, clearly associating this dude's life and the worth of it to that of like a chicken nugget that you drop. Like, that was funny. But everything besides that was just the same old repetitive nature. So the plot was just so generic, which didn't make it unentertaining, but didn't make it anything special.
I don't know. I guess I like the wholesomeness of the story. Like, Anos is
It is wholesome.
He's very into helping the people that need help. Ultimately, like, the things he does, even like from his initial story of like giving up his life to end the war, to the end where he gives up his life again to like quell the anger of humans or whatever. Like all that, like he's just a good guy, and but he has his moments like where he gets pushed too far, and he's like, I think he goes into like the I'm gonna res kill you again spiel like around episode like 10 with a different a different guy, and he's like, I can just keep killing you all day, because he's really overpowered, and so there's not much suspense to the show, because he's like, he can like spin a castle on his fucking finger. I think he does that like in episode 2 or something, and he's so OP. But like everything from like his motivations to his parents, are generally like, I don't know. He's like the character that fixes everything. I used to call it. There were other characters like that. Like there's like back in the day, I used to say like Toru Honda was the character for Fruits Basket, who would like, she'd just like meet you and then like just fix all your problems. And from the original series, and he's kind of like that, but I don't know. He's just like a good guy, and you think he's dead at the end, and I was kind of sad that he was dead. And then like he comes back, and I'm like, oh, of course he came back.
Of course he does.
Of course he came back. But I was kind of happy he did.
Anos is so like wholesome and positive, and he looks out for everyone, and he loves his family even though he's a month old, and like it's just a lot of good vibes emanate from him, which helps make it easy and more compelling and easy to get around. But when he's like keeps on telling people, look into the abyss, use your demonic eyes to see the truth beyond the world, like 1,000 times, like it's a little old. And I don't know, like I did like the moment when they kind of meet when they're learning about the Hero Academy, and they really kind of outlined the gimmick that like evil people or demons kind of have one central source of power, and they like flow it out to their subordinates, whereas the hero like takes in the good from people around the world and flows it into one person. And I guess that was very obvious in all of literature ever, but I guess I never really thought about it like that. And that was a nice touch. But then that's immediately undercut by like this creepy Anos like fan club like idol performance
The
to
8
power
girls.
him up. And then he's like, once again, look into the abyss with your eyes. And the guy's like, look with your special eyes. My brand. Like, I don't know, like it's laughably bad. And it's like a dumpster fire that is kind of entertaining to watch, but it just didn't look good. And it didn't make sense in the ways that I appreciated.
It does get into like some harem-y stuff.
A little bit. I didn't think I wasn't too.
It's not super harem.
Upset with that.
Yeah, because he's not like a. I feel like in order to have a harem anime, you have to have like some bumbling male character who can't like choose between the girls or whatever. And Anos is just kind of like not really into it. Like he's not really romantically involved with anybody, and he's definitely too cool to be like, what is the word? To be put off his game, I guess. He's just too cool for that. But I don't know. I guess at the crux of the show is really like, I guess the lesson is like hatred is like a bad thing and vengeance is like not great, because like the whole show is about like the hatred of humans that humans have for demons, and specifically, what was the one guy's name? His name's like Gerard or
the head of the hero guild,
the dead guy who like is pulling all the strings. He turns himself into magic or whatever, and he's like got everybody. His name is I can't find his name. He's not near the top of the cast list, but
I was gonna say I think the bigger theme is more like the demons who refuse to accept Anos as the king, even though he's clearly more powerful, because they are so rooted in the discrimination of people that don't have royal blood that like he couldn't possibly be the king because he's not a pure noble like us, and no way would the king be reincarnated as anything less than this. So like I think that more like class divide was the pushing point for most of the episodes until they meet the hero guild, if you want to call them that.
Yeah, I guess there's like a lot of classism and I guess like racism too in the show, because like the humans hate the demons, and the pure bloods hate the mixed bloods or whatever from the school. And then at the end, Anos is kind of there to like show everybody that like it's better if you just get along, I guess, for lack of a better word.
And believe in yourself. Isn't that his whole thing? Like, I'm not the king because I'm the strongest. I'm the king because I like trust in myself and have the love and support of people around me. And yeah, that's all wholesome, good stuff. I get that. I appreciate that. I can jive with that.
Yeah. So there's not much to the show. It's just kind of like a fun fantasy romp with Anos. And I'm going to be honest, like when it got to like episode 11-ish, 12, I was like, this isn't going to end. I was like, they're not going to end it, because there was the scene when they found all of the clone girls that had been used to like, you know, power the human
magic.
Yeah, power the war machine for the humans or whatever it was. And then like Anos, the bad Anos, Dohavis or whatever his name is, shows up. And I was like, oh fuck, like season 2 of this is going to be like, we got to go get this guy. And so, but then like it wrapped up so fast, like at the end, like that last episode wrapped everything up. I was like, wow, they really pulled this shit together in a hurry. Del Hevia, thank you, Captain Avatar from Twitch. And I don't know, I might have watched season 2 if it had come out, you know, just to see how it wrapped up. But ultimately, like, I don't think there will be a season 2, so because it wrapped up pretty cleanly actually in the last episode.
The last episode was like funny in all the wrong ways. Like I was laughing at the show more than with it. Like just episode 13 alone, we had the 2 twins, Misha and Sasha, who were like separated when they were a fetus, but because they rewound time, they were able to keep them separate so that they became their own person. Fine, whatever, I can accept that. But then they do like a DBZ fusion, like sperm fusion, where they like turn into this like this girl who has like this flowing white like coattail, and she flies around and it looks exactly like sperm. And then we get another idol song, which I'm all for like diegetic music, but come on, like I actually posted this onto Twitter, but like the lip flaps of the people singing to this song is okay. It doesn't make the show bad that they are obnoxiously out of sync. but it is hilarious. Like their mouths
Yeah.
are flying, and it's like choral music that's really slow is playing. Like it cracked me up so much. Like these are the kind of things that make the show enjoyable, but not it good in the ways that I'm looking for. So it, I don't know. It was a thing. It was fine. Like it wasn't offensive. It didn't hurt to watch. Like it didn't. I wasn't like, oh, I have to watch another episode of this. Like I'm so upset. But when you really look back at it, there's really not much to this show. So
No, there
that's
really
why I
isn't.
was kind of bummed.
Yeah, there's not much to it. The OP, I didn't like it very much, and the music.
The OP, I thought the music was actually fine.
I mean, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad, but ultimately,
It was
I think
the best part about the show, probably for me.
It was the best part for you.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, this is solidly well produced and it sounds all right and it's fine. Like I agree that the OP and ED were trying too hard to be like a slap, but they were a little too lackluster to deliver. But I thought the music was fine. I thought the animation was plain. It was generic. It looked like every mid-level show of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
The animations looked, especially in like the big epic fight scenes, were atrocious. But it got the point across, I guess.
I'd probably recommend it for people who like this type of genre. I mean, if you like the Overlords, if you like the How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, if you like the Cautious Heroes.
I was gonna say Cautious Hero is the closest to it.
Yeah, and I liked Cautious Hero quite a bit.
I did too.
And actually the second season of that's coming out this year. I'm kind of pumped for it actually. You probably would like this show too. You'd have a good shot of liking this one. I don't think this was as good as Cautious Hero. But you know, it to me it was about at the level of like How to Not Summon a Demon Lord. It just wasn't ecchi at all. Like there was really no fan service or like ecchi stuff in this at all. So.
Except for when you realize that Anos is a month old and already has 3 wives and smooching on him.
His parents are so hilarious. He's like
his parents are great, and I do love them. I do want to double check the two of them. They remind me of the Isaac and Miriam because there's like a dance they do like early on that reminds me of the opening of Bakano, like when they're like changing outfits in the alleyway. Something about it just triggered that for
God,
me.
Bakano is so good. Yeah,
their relationship between the two of them and with their son was probably the best part of the show. And as much as I didn't really like Misha or Sasha as characters,
no.
like there was enough backstory to kind of explain why Misha was so weak and shy because she didn't think she had a reason to exist, or Sasha was kind of generic because she was fighting for the life of Misha in this regard and kind of going against the grain. So like it made enough sense where I was like, I can accept it, but that didn't mean I had to like it.
He's so like, God, he's so OP in this. Like, the mission is to go to the bottom of this dungeon and gather this magic staff. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry," to his teammates, because this is actually my castle.
Mm-hmm.
He knows
Let me
all
take a shortcut and bust down the wall.
Yeah, it's like pushes a wall and like he's automatically there. It's
like,
it's
that's
so
not a
fucking
shortcut.
funny.
He's like, hate all you want, my dude.
His parents are okay. They're kind of bumbling and silly like the ones from every other anime, but they weren't really in it very much. So I don't know.
What are you talking about? His dad was the hero who made that legendary sword that was
Well, I know, but like
literally nothing.
But every time he comes home, he has another girl with him, and they're always like, "Oh my God, his second wife!" And it's like, oh jeez. But I liked them though. It was fun. But yeah, and he gives his dad all the credit for winning the tournament or whatever. Yeah. His dad was cute. So it was okay. How to Not Summon a Demon Lord. It was good enough, I think, for me. But not a very serious show though. If you're in it for like the deep like monster like story and stuff like that, forget it. It's not there. So, but ultimately I watched it pretty quick, and I didn't feel like it was I didn't feel like I was being tortured. It was an easy watch. It went pretty fast. There was no falling asleep and being having to rewatch stuff. So not too bad. That's about all I have to say about it. I mean, it is what it is.
To each his own. You probably know at this point if it's up your alley or not. So I think we can leave it at that.
I will say we're doing our impressions next week. And
exciting.
Yeah, I know. I like what is out. I'm gonna look real quick and see what's out that will have impressions ready for next week.
I think I'll have a couple shows ready.
Let's see, by start date here. By start date, anything that had an episode, 2, 3, 1, anything that started like on or before the 16th of January will be able to be reviewed. So I think that's like
Geki Doll, Beastars, ReZero, 243, Laid Back Camp Season 2. It wasn't passed for impressions, but it's pretty good. Watch it. Bottom Tier Tomozaki.
Hortensia Saga.
Cells at Work. All kinds of stuff.
I'm told Hortensia Saga is like really bad, which is like so sad because the trailer.
Yeah, it's not the worst of the year. That is currently a deadlock between like, what is it, like Back Arrow and whatever that Gohan show is. That's fighting for the worst of the worst.
Oh, and then there's the Spider Show. That'll probably have 3 episodes out, so we could do an impression on that. And Promise Neverland and some other stuff. So,
yeah,
boy, there's a lot. We're gonna be able to do a lot of stuff next week. So get ready for impressions. I'm excited. Like there's a lot of good stuff to talk about from the season, and apparently next season too. So.
Oh, X-Arm. I forgot about X-Arm. Thank you, chat.
Oh, X-Arm, is that really bad?
X-Arm, Back Arrow. The Praetor show, whatever. Oh my goodness. Oh no!
Pretty much.
I actually have to change one of my picks because I picked like Alice in Deadly School, but that turns out to be like a companion OVA to the Geki Doll show that I mentioned, that they were like tied together. So I'm gonna see what that's all about, but we'll have lots to talk about.
Oh yeah. All
But
right.
with that was our show. Mitz, where can people find you on Twitter?
I'm at Pope Mitsugi. I haven't really been on Twitter much lately, honestly, but if you wanna send me a message or whatever, you can hit me up on Twitter. You'd probably be better off hitting me up on Discord, but it is what it is. How about you, Mason?
Chat is saying we should make you watch X-Arm with your LASIK so you can question if they did it right. What did they do to my anime?
You're gonna get 3 listener choice picks this season, so you'll be
there. You go. Those are the 3.
Although I assume you're gonna be spending them on like, the great shows that don't get picked like immediately. Like there's so many good sequels this show that I think this season that we're not gonna be able to pass them all. So you're gonna have to be the one. You have to be the ones to save like the slime animes of the world, probably maybe, and other things that don't get passed. So.
Well, you can follow Mandy at MandyXMandy. You can follow me at Macy Pacey and see that terribly bad GIF I mentioned. But most importantly, follow the podcast at AAA Podcast for all the news and updates. Facebook, we got a group there. Discord, we have anime clubs, we have manga clubs, we have weekly watch parties. Go check it out. You can get all the details over there. AAPodcast.com, that's the hub of everything. iTunes, please give us a review and we will love you forever. Next episode, like we said, we're doing impressions, and we hope to see you there. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching and listening. We love you. See you later.